It's Frank and Angie in Cuenca, Ecuador. Discover CuencaEcuador.com. Discovering Panama, too. And wherever the Lord leads.
Here's a question from a reader. She says, I've read and watched the info you provided since you moved there because that's how long I've considered moving to Cuenca. I read that you don't need to hire a guide, but how can you get everything done, like utility setup, banking, if you don't know Spanish? She also says, I will probably have to buy a bed, a refrigerator, a microwave, and dishes at first too, but I live pretty frugal here in Seattle. So what would be the ballpark for that?
When you are used to being frugal, that to me also means that you have learned to be flexible. It means that if we can't get something one way, we'll get it another way. But we aren't just going to show up and throw money around. That's not the frugal way. And so that's how building our own furniture came about. We made no plans to build any furniture. We never said we're going to go to Ecuador and build our own furniture. Matter of fact, we were in that state of mind that, up there in the U.S., being frugal is almost too easy, Craigslist, yard sales, and we didn't even fathom that we would come down there and that those things didn't exist. And so what did we do? Our mind got thrown into a situation where we had to come up with a solution. We were forced to come up with a solution. And so I think that if you're already frugal in Seattle, that sounds like a title to a movie, Frugal in Seattle.
Oh yeah.
They don't make movies about frugal folk.
Sometimes
for
they
frugal
do.
folks. But no, if you're already frugal in Seattle, yeah, you'll need to make some adjustments, but I think you're going to be okay because, things are actually better now anyway since we first got here almost 5 years ago, in that because there are more expats there's also more leaving. Back, back then there weren't, there wasn't anybody, just the people coming. They were too new, But now people are packing up and selling their stuff, so it's easy to get stuff. And again, frugal folks understand making sacrifices if they need to. Part of life, isn't it? Making sacrifices, and because there's a payoff. It's not a sacrifice meaning that you are, lacking. You're not lacking. You're postponing something now for a better future benefit, So that means that things will get better, doesn't it? So, I say if you're already frugal in a place like Seattle, which is super expensive, then I think you're going to be fine. Look, when I came here, I got a house with no furniture in it, and I had to go to the store and buy a mattress. I had to get it delivered, all this kind of stuff like that. I didn't use any facilitator, because I'm frugal. So what did I do? It's funny because I wrote down. I went and bought the mattress. That was easy enough. I used a lot of sign language at the store back then. Didn't speak Spanish. And I would Google Translate phrases, put them on index cards, and then I wrote down, please deliver the mattress to my home, and I Google Translated it in Spanish. So I walk up to the truck, read my translation, please deliver the mattress to my home, and then the guy answered me in Spanish. I had no clue what he was saying, but he said it 2 or 3 times. It finally dawned on me, okay, he's asking me, okay, fine, where's your home? But I hadn't translated and thought that far. We both cracked up laughing. Finally, we both decided, okay, just get in the truck and point. Point is, it's okay to be a little uncomfortable and not worry about it, as long as you're making an effort. If you've got money to run around with a bilingual, fine. I'm not judging that, and I'm not saying it's wrong. You can do that. But nowadays, there's so many gringos here that they actually have someone in the utilities building that will speak English. They'll just go call them. They'll see that you're having difficulty. But if you plan things out well enough and give it an effort, it's good. You'll be okay. I wouldn't worry about it too much. We know we're headed into a new environment, and we want to have everything planned. You know, we want to have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, make sure we've thought of everything, and there's nothing wrong with that, except for there's always that 10% that is unknown. There's always a 10%, a small percentage that is going to surprise you and be an unknown. And that's, for us, it was coming here and not being able, and being shocked that we couldn't get cheap used furniture anywhere.
But you can now.
And so having to come up with a solution. But nowadays you can, but back then we couldn't, so.
It might not be cheap, but
It might, yeah, well, it's just like anything else. You don't just show up and buy, you wait till something's within your budget, so. Yeah, it can be done, you can do it. There's a lot of other considerations that we go into the Do-It-Yourself Cuenca Landing Guide. You will want to have that guide because it gives you the insight and the wisdom that you need. So we're missionaries. We sincerely like helping people. So thanks for coming to our website, discovercuencaecuador.com. Thanks for reading, thanks for writing. Have a wonderful day. Frank and Angie, goodbye.